Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to do a long-form, full, in-depth analysis of the 2022 US House elections. I know that ratings have been changing and now the consensus is almost that Republicans will take control. You know that 538 came up with this one, giving them 228 seats. But I'm going to start with the 2022 consensus and do state by state. So of course Alabama, nothing there. Alaska, nothing. And then we go to Arizona. So in Arizona we all know that the Republicans have a quite good map. I believe that David Schweikert is going to win without too much problems. Also you have the open seat where Ann Kirkpatrick is said to be retiring, and you have altogether a couple of competitive races. But I really think that not all of these are going to be that competitive. Greg Stanton is popular. He was the former mayor of Phoenix, and it's a Biden plus 10 district, so that one will stay blue, I think. Kirkpatrick, someone who even has a safe, and Halloran, who is in a heavily Trump district, he is going to lose, as he has taken much of Gosar's former district, so that one is flippin'. And Arkansas, there is nothing. French Hill probably has a bit more solid district right now. State of California, a lot in California. So we can start with the 13th district, which I believe is going to be competitive, but many are complaining that the Republican candidate John Duarte is, well, not too good. And I don't have anything against him personally, but he is not being lifted up as a strong candidate. Valadao is different. He is an incumbent with a quite different district. His district is even bluer than it usually is, but it's David Valadao. This is going to be a much more friendly year for the Republicans, so I think he's going to win. Mike Garcia is also going to win. He's not as moderate as Valadao, but he will pull it through. And then you have two districts in Southern California that could be more competitive. And you have the 47th and the 49th, which are rated as lean Democratic, but they actually went quite heavily for the the Democrats in the last elections. Let's see, basically 11 to 12%. And people say maybe Levin loses because he is an underperformer, not so popular as Porter, but I think actually they're both going to stay, because there's a reason Darrell Ison moved out of this district, because he has moved so far away. Then you have Colorado, easy pickings in Colorado. There is one district that I believe is going to be competitive and is going to flip. We know that the candidates are going to be Yadira Carevo, and the Republican is Barbara King Kirkmeyer. I don't know too much about her, but she is probably not going to be a weak candidate or anything. Oh yes, she is a member of the Colorado Senate, so she has experience, will probably do the job and give that to the GOP. And then you have in Connecticut. The weird thing here is that these ones actually only voted for Biden by 10 to 11 percentage points. And you would think that in this part of the country, congressional Republicans would be able to do a lot better than Trump, and they would probably have a much better position than him. So we have George Logan running against Jahana Hayes, and against Joe Courtney we have Mike France. I don't know too much about them, and I'm just going to keep the ratings as is for now. Delaware, nothing there. That one is going to stay blue, unfortunately. Florida, I would agree with most of these ratings, maybe put a bit more of them into the safe column for the GOP. And then you have Georgia. Sanford Bishop is not going down, but this one is going to be safe Republican for now. Hawaii, nothing. Idaho, nothing. Illinois. This is an exciting one, because this is one I wish that Republicans had put a lot more resources into to break the Democratic gerrymander stranglehold. And I'm really surprised that these districts like 14th and 11th are rated as like the Democratic, because if you look back to 2016, Republicans won in these areas, and the Chicago suburbs are quite big, but I still don't think that we should exclude them and say that, well, this is going to be heavily Democratic. I just think that these are some lost chances. Bill Foster is probably going to win. Sean Casten is probably going to win too, because he's a stronger general election opponent. And then, here comes my sort of negative surprise. Sherry Bustos, people say that she is vulnerable, or her seat is, but the thing is, this went from being a like Trump plus 4 seat to a Biden plus 7.8 seat. And this is the part of the state where Trump does better than congressional Republicans. Right? In the suburbs of Chicago, it's opposite. So I definitely think that these will be closer, even lean margin to these. And the 13th, I don't really know. But simply because it sounds like... I've heard that Republicans have a quite strong candidate. I think it's... Is it Esther Joy King? Yeah, it is. I don't know, I still feel that this one is going to stay blue, and this one, simply because it's so far out of Chicago and into large rural areas, is going to flip. And I might be wrong. I wish that Republicans had put more effort into some of these suburban districts. Next we go to the state of Indiana. I know that Trump didn't do too bad in Frank Mrvan's district. He actually improved in that area compared to in 2016, which is a surprise. But usually the Democrats do very well in this area also. So he is up against Jennifer Ruth Green. I think it is a bit of a stretch, and I'm going to keep it as a lean Democrat, because I just don't think it's that much within reach. Iowa. This one I think I'm actually going to keep as is. The Republicans will hold all seats in Iowa. Kansas, they will obviously defeat Sharice Davids, because her district has become a bit more friendly to the Republicans, and she only won by a quite narrow margin last time. Kentucky, nothing in Kentucky. Same in Louisiana. Maine, Jared Golden is the incumbent in a Trump district. The thing is, he is up against Bruce Poliquin, who is this establishment Republican, and I think that he is going to hold. Republicans could have put up a better candidate, but it's not happening this time around. Alright, so where were we? We're at Maine and Maryland. This is an exciting one. So Biden would win this district by 10, but it's Maryland. Trump is not too popular, especially in this suburban area. So I really don't know. It depends on the size of the wave. I should take a look at the candidates though, to see if there is any reason to have hope. Yeah, Republicans have not, the primary hasn't been yet, so we don't know who the GOP candidate will be, so I'll just hold it off for now. Massachusetts, that's nothing. In the state of Michigan, that's a lot. Okay, so 538 actually has Mr. Peter Meyer's district as likely. I think also that Elisa Slotkin is going down. Daniel Kildee has a name about, and that's helping him. I don't know too much about the opponents yet. Of course, the primary has not been yet. So we will see how it goes. Probably John James will pick up this district, which I'll actually put likely. And yeah, I would like to see this one lean red too, but right now I'm having it as a lean blue. Next state, let's go to the state of Minnesota. Angie Craig barely survived in 2020. She was expected to hold on by a likely margin, and it ended up being extremely narrow, so that one I think will flip now with the national environment. This is one of those bellwether districts, the other one being in Washington, and there are a few others too, that will simply go to whoever is not holding control of the White House. Minnesota. Mississippi, there was some exciting primaries here in Mississippi, and we will get a new Republican representative in Mississippi 4th, but nothing in the general. So Missouri is also uncompetitive. Montana, that will go to Ryan Zink, former Secretary of the Interior and probably the best candidate. Don Bacon will win. Nevada, this is a big one. There is a lot of opportunities in Nevada, and Republicans are most likely to pick up Susie Lee's district. And after that, I think that because Dina Titus is the one with most experience and probably name recognition also among these Democrats, she's the only one who will hold off. It could be a trifecta, but I think that's a bit too optimistic, and Republicans will hold or take 3 out of these 4 seats. Next is New Hampshire. Now, New Hampshire, I know that Trump did a bit better in the 1st district, and here you have a bunch of Republicans running. We will see who the candidate is, but I think they will be able to defeat, what is his name now? Yeah, Chris Pappas. And make that one red once again. New Jersey, well, I wouldn't really change anything. Tom Malinowski barely survived last time, and now he's up against Thomas Keane in a much different environment. Redistricting really screwed over the GOP here. They just picked the Democratic map instead of finding something in the middle. And you have, as a result, a bunch of likely to safe Democratic districts that was previously held by Republicans up to 2018. So that will be a 3-seat hold for the Republicans. New Mexico, this one I think now will hold by Eva Terrell. She has incumbency and of course the national environment. Biden is very unpopular, and these others could also become a lot closer depending on how it goes in the governor's race, where you have the great Mark Ronchetti going up against Michelle Lujan Grisham, and I think he is going to win also. So other seats could also flip. In the state of New York, this is a big one. This is maybe one of the biggest ones in terms of opportunities for pickups in this election cycle. The 19th, people have been saying that it's leaning red, but I'm actually going to take a big hot take and say that it is likely red. Yeah, that's right. When it comes to these other districts, John Katko is retiring. This one was open because Antonio Delgado resigned to become the lieutenant governor of New York. This one is open because Sean Patrick Maloney moved down here, and I believe that's why it's flipping. Also, this one is open because Thomas Suozzi has left, and if you look at the margins here, they're not really that big for Biden. They're less than 10. Suozzi, that one is holding. John Katko is also retiring. In a Biden +7 district, I think that it is also going to flip, but that will be it. So Republicans have a chance to pick up a lot of seats in the state of New York, and of course they need to hold their own in Long Island and downstate. The next one let's go to is North Carolina, and here you have a legend, Bo Hines, in North Carolina 13th. That one is, you should all keep an eye on that one. I think that he is going to win, and I think he is going to be one of the newer, more interesting characters in Congress also. Based positions, good candidates, all of that. North Dakota, nothing. Ohio, let's see, that's Ohio. So you have really 3 competitive districts in Ohio. I don't know why the 13th there is characterized as leaning red, because yes, the Republicans have the better candidate, but still, this district voted for Biden, but it is in the part of the state where Trump is doing a lot better than other Republicans. Okay, Tim Ryan would excel in this district if you go like 4 or 6 years back. So yeah, Trump almost won it, but other Republicans have been a bit further away. I have more confidence in the 9th district going to the GOP because it voted for Trump. I don't think J.R. Marjevsky is the most electable, even though he has very good policies. So yeah, I think this is going to be the result for now, and sooner than later the 1st district is going to go to the Democrats because it's really trending Democratic, and Steve Chabot is not going to be around forever also. Nothing in Oklahoma. Stephanie Bice now has a safe district. Oregon is really exciting. As you all know, in the 5th district, Kurt Schroeder was primaried out by a complete lunatic. And we see that his district only voted for Biden by 8.8. So that one is flipping. Lori Chavez Dremer, I don't know too much about her, but she definitely seems like the stronger candidate. And then you have Alex Carlatos. Alex Carlatos is one of those heroes who stopped the terrorist attack back in 2015. He ran against Peter DeFazio when the district was, I believe, R+1. Now it's a lot more friendly to the Democrats, but he is retiring. Also, it is a very different year, and he has already run in this district once. They might know him a bit better. So another hot take, Scarlatos wins. It would be amazing. And maybe, the Oregon governor's race, maybe the candidate there could have some coattails that will help him over. I don't know, we'll see. Pennsylvania, this is one I have actually invested some time to look into, because there are 3 big opportunities for the GOP here. Obviously, Brian Fitzpatrick is going to win. I'm tempted to put that in the safe column for him, but we are really just going to talk about the 2 others up here, and this one out west. In the 7th district, Susan Wild is running for re-election, but she barely survived in 2020. It was very close. The same candidate, Lisa Scheller, is the Republican nominee again, and the same is with Matthew Cartwright. Of course, Susan Wild district actually voted for Biden very narrowly. Matthew Cartwright's district voted for Trump. But the same candidates who made it very close in 2020 is now running in a much more friendly environment. Both are going to flip. Out west, Connor Lamb's district has become a bit more Democratic, in contrast to Susan Wild, who has become more Republican. And Connor Lamb also is retiring, and you have Jeremy Schaffer versus Chris Deluzio. I call him Chris Delusional because it has a better ringtone to it. And well, yeah, I do think it's going to go red. Mostly because he is retiring and the national environment is looking very good for the GOP. And of course, Biden is extremely unpopular in places like these. Let's see, Rhode Island. I can't believe this, but Alan Fung has really made this one extremely close. Or maybe not, because he is ahead by 10 points or more in the polls against his possible opponents, because there are still many Democrats running. Yes, we don't know yet, but if you are to believe the polls, he is the clear favorite actually. He is crushing every single possible Democratic opponent in the polls. South Carolina, nothing here. Unfortunately, Nancy Mace survived. Tom Rice did not, and to be honest, I don't have too much against him. It's Nancy Mace who is terrible on the issues. Tom Rice voted with Trump 100% of the time until he voted for impeachment. And yeah, that one is had. Tennessee is going to have a safe flip for the GOP. He is even retiring, so that one is not competitive. Texas. In Texas, you have only really these 3 districts that are going to be competitive. One is probably going to go red, and then you have 2 others, Mayra Flores and Vicente Gonzalez. Henry Cuellar. I don't know here. I think this one is a bit more likely to flip, even though Flores has the incumbency, so does Gonzalez. So she would have a much better chance if she ran in one of these other districts, but I mean, this is where she's from, so I get it. Utah. Due to redistricting, Burgess Owens now has the most conservative district in the state of Utah. Believe it or not. So he is of course going to be safe, as are the 3 others in that state as well. Utah, Vermont, Virginia. Virginia is exciting. Most people can see that Elaine Luria is probably going to lose. And when it comes to Abigail Spanberger, I don't know how heavily this new district voted for Youngkin. I know that it includes Hanover County, which is a Republican, but also, let's see, you have Prince William and yeah, this is Prince William County, which is heavily Democratic, but I think she is still going to lose. I don't really know. Maybe Youngkin is going to campaign with the nominees. We will see. It's a Biden +6 district. Yeah, she is going to have a real tough time in this year's environment. The previous one would be much easier to take back, but I still think she's going down. Virginia, Washington, we are getting to the close. In Washington, Kim Schreier has this bellwether district who, well, she barely held on last time, and now, this time, she is going down. In the 3rd and the 4th district, it's really going to be exciting who the Republican candidates will be, or maybe both of the general election candidates will be GOP, because of the system here. So you could have Jamie Herrera Butler versus Joe Kent in the general, which would be quite bad for Joe Kent, because then the Democrats would vote for Butler. And then you have in the 4th district, Dan Newhouse is probably also going to have a Republican general election opponent. West Virginia, nothing. Wisconsin, yeah, I kind of agree with this one. Maybe even likely. I don't know too much about the Republican candidate here. Well, his name, I believe, is Derek Van Orden. I believe that's the guy who also ran last time, but the primaries haven't been yet, so we'll see. And that's it. Let's take a look at what we have then. 244 for the Republicans and 191 for the Democrats. So obviously there are still some opportunities. A lot of places here where the Republicans could win, like in the last district in Nevada, in Illinois, in Maryland, in Michigan. So right now I have them picking up 31 seats. Yeah, and I think this is a good prediction for the month of July. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you next time.